led through the mist by the milk light of moon. All that was lost is revealed. Our long bygone burdens, mere echoes of the spring.
Greetings and salutations, my friends. I'm Colin, and welcome back to Markers and Monsters, and happy Halloween 2023. Today we're looking at a beautiful autumnal treat, a piece of animation called Over the Garden Wall. It's a 10-episode miniseries that aired on Cartoon Network in 2014. Let's get started, shall we? I'm kind of lining up my paper here. I want a vintage vibe to this, kind of like an old school tableau. Now, the series itself follows two brothers, Wirt and Greg, as they make their way through the unknown, forested land that kind of is reminiscent of Americana, we'll say. Immediately upon watching the series, you're going to notice little bits and bobs and pieces of old American artwork, vintage Halloween stuff, posters, pictures, kind of reminds you of the 1700s, 1800s. You can't really place exactly where it is. I want this little like pumpkin above with the wings, kind of like a tombstone almost. Below, we're going to have Greg's rock. That's a rock fact. As you can see, I'm putting in Wirt, the tall one with the pointy hat, voiced by Elijah Wood, and Wirt, the little guy with the teapot on his hat. And there's his friend the frog. Beatrice, the bluebird's going to go in there too. Guys, I can't tell you enough how beautiful and cool this series is. It's a perfect little mini-series. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when you're done, you're done. You don't need to seek out more, although there are comics and things, which are pretty good. But it's a perfect little story. And it's great. The vibes of this just absolutely scream Halloween and fall and just that wonderful, magical time of year. There's Beatrice. I'm putting her in now. I first watched the show a few years ago, so I was late to the party, on HBO Max. I don't know if it's still there or not, but since I've watched it, it's kind of become a little bit of a tradition to view it around this time period. I can't tell you guys how much I love Halloween, and if you've been following the channel for any length of time, you know that Halloween is definitely a favorite for me. So always finding these new little things to watch are just beautiful and magical. I really love, too, a good mini-series, something that isn't an ongoing, something I don't have to worry about cliffhanger endings and things of that nature. I can just get in, I can watch it, I can be done. And there you go. And, I don't fear an ending necessarily. And it's especially good when you only have 10 episodes and every episode is very good. As you can see now, I'm going in with my Copic SPs. I'm outlining everything. I kind of wanted to stick a little bit to the animation style in this. So the outlines are very thin. I'm not going in with like a brush pen or anything like that. Keeping them pretty thin and uniform. And then the colors are going to come and stand out here in a little bit. I put some piping along the sides there. Along with that kind of that rock tableau down at the bottom, and the pumpkin with the wings at the top and some spooky trees in there. And that's all going to kind of frame this thing in, give kind of that vintage cameo look to it that I'm really going for with this. As you can see, things are just a little off and a little crooked when I was drawing it. I think when I measured it, I did it just a little bit wrong, and so everything's just a wee bit off. But you know what? I think it still turned out pretty great. I don't know what you guys like for Halloween. I don't know if there's any traditions that you have in terms of movies you watch or anything. I'd love to know, so throw me a line in the comments. It's become a little bit of a tradition for me to watch Ernest Scared Stupid with the Kung Fu Kids Party that I help out at the school, and it seems like Ernest is the one I always show them. I hate to put on something like, I don't know, Hotel Transylvania. Not that it's a bad movie or anything, but I don't know. I feel like everybody's seen it a billion times, so Ernest Scared Stupid's usually pretty new. Let's start getting in here with the Copics and add in not a black, but like a very dark brown. I try to avoid using blacks as often as I can. I feel black is such a, I don't know, it's such a bold statement. I find a nice brown or a dark blue, it looks so much better ultimately at the end of the day, I find at least. We're going to go in with a lot of browns, golds, ambers, oranges with this. And the characters themselves will be I'd say colorful, but even still desaturated. Again, that's the vibe of this whole show. So Wirt and Greg are making their way across the unknown, and they're chased by the Beast, a shadowy, unknown type of monster, and they're trying to make their way home. The show is full of mystery, wonder, whimsy, and I really love that. And include a gorgeous voice cast in there that really sell everything, and some absolutely stunning music. This show is damn near perfect, if you ask me. We're going to go in with some greens there and keep them, again, desaturated. Real olives, real light. Saturation, for any of you guys in the art scene, saturation refers to the intensity of the color. So if something is very saturated, it's going to be very, very blue or very, very green. As you desaturate, you get closer to a gray. The colors are kind of washed out. I find that kind of moodiness of a desaturated tone looks really good. When I was younger, I drew everything in blacks and grays and, splashes of blood red here and there, sure. But as I got older, I found that having things, a little desaturated and still colorful gives a great vibe to it. I'm not afraid of color. I actually really, really like using a lot of color anymore as I've progressed, I think, as an artist. And I don't know. I think that's great. There's so many colors in the rainbow, and they're all tools in an artist's toolbox. Knowing when to use the right color can often be the difference between a good illustration and a great illustration. Not that I think this is great per se, but yeah, I still like it. Add in a little bit of shadows there just to bring out some of the depth on that little pumpkin with wings tableau. When I visited the old burying grounds, the Dutch church up in Sleepy Hollow, New York, a few years ago, I found those old tombstones to be very inspiring. They'd often be from the 1700s, which for the U.S. is pretty old, and they'd have these carven figures on them, skulls and wings and angels and things. And I always found that so unique and so neat, and it's definitely a style that you don't see much anymore. I don't know what I'd want carved on my tombstone, but I can tell you I would like pepperoni and sausage on my tombstone pizza. That's for sure. That's an old joke, but I'm an old guy, so what are you going to do? Let's start going in, coloring the characters. Again, I'm kind of keeping this more cartoony, sticking with the vibe of the animation in the show. So everything's going to kind of be more flat colors, if that makes sense. I'll go in a little bit later and I'll start putting in a little bit of shadow here, but especially with Wirt's blue cape there, I have to go over it a couple times just to get that nice flat matte blue in. It's kind of got a royal blue cape on. You can't see it because it's hidden by the little rock down there, but Wirt also is wearing two different colored shoes. Interesting. If you haven't seen this show, I highly recommend that you check it out before you read any spoilers, try to find out what happens, or anything like that. It's great to just go in blind, take it all in stride, and really just enjoy the journey. As I said, there's some great music. One of my favorite episodes is when the group, as it were, decide to take an old ferry boat, one of those old like Mississippi steamboat trawlers, but it's filled with various frog people all dressed up. And they make their way down the river. They eventually sing a really cool song in there, too, and have a lot of fun. The show's filled with things like that. A school for animals, weird animation from the 1930s. Absolutely a wonderful experience. We're rapidly ending this thing now here. I'm putting in with my white gel pen a couple of highlights here and there. I'm going to sign it up. And then I'm going to realize, hey, I need to put in a little more depth. I didn't like how the faces look. So let's add just a little bit of shadow here and there under the hair, along the edge with a little bit of a darker skin tone and stuff like that. I think this is going to make the characters pop out a little more. Try to be cognizant of my light sources when I'm working. But with animation and cartoons, you can be a little more freeform. So there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got. All right, wonderful. Hey, that turned out pretty great. It's good to film a video again, you guys. I know it's been a very, very long time. Life has been busy, but things have been great for me. I'm a professional artist now, working in the role-playing games industry. I'm a published author, again, for role-playing games. I don't know, proud of myself. Things have gotten great, frankly. Knock on wood here. I don't want anything to get bad, but hey, things are going great. When I can, I'd love to pop in and share a video with you guys here and there, but Halloween's a special occasion and deserves a special video. So, all of you out there watching, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great Halloween. Have fun, stay safe, eat lots of candy, carve a pumpkin, go for a walk in the woods, and if you find yourself in the unknown, well, just sing a song and try to make your way home as best you can. We'll see you folks on the next one. Goodbye.